looking at this race, you would have to imagine if Charles Hicks manages to produce a similar run to what he did 3 weeks ago now at the NCAA Championships, he's going to be extremely tough to beat.
Yeah, and he'll be used to this fast and ferocious start. That's exactly what happens at an NCAA Championships, and you can see him there with Great Britain, with Tom Mortimer having a fast start, as is one of the athletes on the inside. But I'm concerned about this first corner. It was fine in the junior women's, but these fields are getting bigger, the bodies are getting bigger. Can these under-23 men navigate this sharp left-hand turn?
Yeah, it could be quite dangerous as we see I think that's the Luxembourg athlete there, is that Maurice Guérin's leading out the field, but he's just closing in, and it doesn't look like we have any casualties anyway at the moment at the first turn, and Charles Hicks just slotting in there in second. McElhinney joining him there. They'll all want to be near the front from the outset here, because as we saw in that under-20 men's race, when it goes hard from the gun, if you're not with it, you're not going to be coming home with the gold. But as it's been for a long time now, Hicks and McElhinney leading the way, everyone else just hanging in.
I feel like Charles Hicks navigated that corner very well, ready to put a kick in. I was thinking he's never been out of position. And that, for me, that shows that he's running within himself. McElhinney as well. Neither of them have really been in a bad position so far. They've been able to cover any move, anything that's been thrown at them. But I feel now, for the first time, Charles Hicks might be putting his foot down. He's looking around who can live with this lift of pace. He's using this technical part of the course to ask some questions of his competitors as he moves forward. I think they'll have 2 laps when they come round. But Charles Hicks trying to stretch away from the field. Ireland packing well for that silver medal at the moment. France in third, but Darragh McElhinney, he has judged this effort incredibly well. He's taken nearly a lap to get back up to Charles Hicks. It was this point 1,500 metres ago that Charles Hicks made a move. But Darragh McElhinney, for me, he's closed that gap. Now, how is Charles Hicks going to respond mentally and physically when the Irishman pulls up alongside him?
Yeah, I think if you're one of these athletes and you could pick which of them you want to be, you certainly want to be McElhinney, because mentally, Charles Hicks, you've made a big move. You've probably been checking the big screen. You've probably stolen a little glance, and often you can hear the footsteps behind you. It can tell you the breathing, you can even hear, and you can hear all those Irish fans probably shouting Darragh's name behind him, and that will just play into his head a little bit mentally. I'm sure Charles Hicks, he'll have to just block that out and say, do what I can do, keep churning the pace and try to just drop Darragh McElhinney and try to be alone. But McElhinney looks to be sitting very pretty right now, the way he has moved, but he still has about 10 metres, and you can be sure if Darragh McElhinney was able to close that, he'd have closed it already for sure. He's certainly under the cosh himself as they turn left and rise through the steepest part of the course. It could be history for McElhinney here on home turf. When the European cross-country championships came to Ireland 12 years ago, there was big disappointment, as great a day as it was for the home fans, that there was no Irish medals on the day. But they've already got a junior medal race in the under-20 men's team event, and they look like they're headed for gold in the team event here if they can. Their 3 athletes can hang on in those top 10, 12 positions over this final 600. But we'll focus on the battle for the individual podium for the moment, because it is McElhinney starting to turn the screw out front, and it is the athlete from Luxembourg there who's come from way back to join this crew. Can he spring a huge upset here? He hits the front with 500 metres to run.
Well, Ruben Courigeon of Luxembourg, he's got a 3:42 to his name. That's going to be pretty handy for 1,500 metre time for a cross-country runner. But blimey, I do not think Charles Hicks and Darragh McElhinney considered the fact they were going to let someone else back into this race, because this is a real turn up for the books. The athlete from Luxembourg has timed this perfectly. This is late in the race, and he's made a fantastic move, and these 3 now pulling away to secure the medals, but I really can't call what order this is going to be in.
Who knows? They're running uphill to the final turn here. This is going to be one heck of a dust-up. Ruben Courigeon has timed it to perfection. He hits the front. He came from nowhere. It looks like he kept his powder dry for the perfect moment, because he has swept to the lead as they run into the final turn. Courigeon ahead of Hicks, ahead of McElhinney. Does McElhinney or Hicks, do they have one last effort in the tank? Courigeon has about a 2-metre advantage as they round the turn, but this is still all to play for. What does Hicks have left in those legs after his long NCAA season? What does McElhinney have left as the home crowd cheers him towards a medal? But Ruben Courigeon is gone for home. 150 to run. Hicks is still on him though, 2 metres behind. Courigeon digs deep into the locker. He's got about a metre, but here comes Hicks once again. Charles Hicks to the front, takes over from John McElhenney. Looks like he's running down John for second, but Charles Hicks, after such a long season, the Great Britain looks to be on top again. McElhenney's trying to close him down, but he's not going to get there. NCAA stardom this year, and Charles Hicks is going to be the under-23 European cross-country champion. A great run from the Great Britain. Charles Hicks is king in Dublin.
Wow, what a finish. Hats off to John for having a go at that. He really asked questions. McElhenney and Hicks looked like they were having it all their own way, and they did have a little bit extra in that last 200.
Quick look there at Charlie Hicks. His mum likes to call him Charles. He said some of his mates call him Charlie. I'm going to call him Charlie. I thought,
go for it.
Sure, last year
we
were calling him Charlie. So about to get underway then. And they're racing. Ireland stopped France last year, taking a 4th consecutive title. How the French would love to take that team title once again. Charlie Hicks full of confidence, moving to the front there after what? Some 45 seconds or so, the defending champion, the reigning champion. And he's got a wise old racing head in his shoulders, has Hicks. He not only won the NCAA title 3 weeks ago, but having moved to the USA at the age of 12, he feels very at home in the USA. Said he went home after the NCAA title to his training base in California. And when asked, though, about the hill and whether it would suit him, Hannah, he was keen to be very, very calm about it, wasn't he? He said, look, we're all racing on the same course. It's the same for everybody. I don't feel any distinct advantage because of the slope, and I'm good on hills. Charlie Hicks attacking now. McElhenney going through a bad patch. That gap is growing. Back to the Irishman left of picture in 4th place. Charlie Hicks, if he has a little glance over his shoulder now, he may take some sucker from that and push on. Yeah, McElhenney really struggling up that little slope. You've got to lean into them and accelerate into them to maintain the momentum. What you don't want to do is come to a stop at the top of the slope and then have to pick it up again. That's really hard. It takes extra amount of energy from your engine to pick up the speed again from what was more or less a standstill. You have to try and maintain momentum up those slopes, just there like Hicks and Mohammed do. But Charlie Hicks, the defending champion, moves to the fore again. They're having quite a dust up, these two. They've swapped the lead 3 or 4 times in the last 3 or 4 minutes. There's a battle royal going on for the bronze medal. That's a quartet of vests as they come into the hill for the last time. Now, can Hicks get away from Mohammed here? He probably has better speed than Mohammed, better strength than Mohammed on paper, but I'd love to see it when you have to rip up the paperwork and just watch racing unfold, and you can't predict it. Zach Mohammed has got a target, and that's on the back of Charlie Hicks's vest at the moment.
I want to say Charles Hicks, he's looked good every single time we've come up these hills. He has looked relaxed. Zach Mohammed had to go down in the flat section in the field. For me, Mohammed's got to feel a little bit demoralised now. It was like he tried to drop Hicks before they got to this hill, because Charles Hicks is just, for me, getting half a metre every few seconds ahead of Zach Mohammed. I do think that's a winning hill sprint there from Charles Hicks, if he can just stay on his feet down the sharp downhill, because that is certainly not a given.
Through the Castella della Mandria for Charlie Hicks and Zach Mohammed for the final time, and he's got the daylight now that he's been searching for the last 10 minutes. So is Charlie Hicks. There's a real bounce as he leans into that left-hand turn. He's a beautiful looking runner, moves well. Zach Mohammed has thrown everything at him to try and break him, and has done well to hang on to him and actually been dragged well away from the pursuers. He's surely assured a silver medal now, but Charlie Hicks just skids around that left-hand turn, the most awkward point on the course. In fact, we've seen 1 or 2 fallers there. It's going to be 1-2 for Great Britain, barring disaster. Brilliant running. Is this Bresque in 3rd place? It is Valentin Bresque of France in 3rd place. Dagenot in 4th for them. They're in 3rd and 4th. Then Ephraim Guide of Ireland in 5th place. Guide very experienced at this level, but Charlie Hicks, the real deal here. It's great to see that form of the NCAA's, Hannah, here in Europe.
That is a formidable 12 months for Charles Hicks. NCAA win a few weeks ago, and now he is backing up his gold medal performance here at the European Athletics Championships. It is going to be a second gold for Great Britain.
He had a glance over his shoulder there just to make doubly sure, but he celebrates as he crosses the tape. Charlie Hicks retains his title from Dublin. He said last year he was banged up before Dublin, wasn't in as good shape as he is this year, which underlines what a great run that is from Zach Mohammed to take the silver for Great Britain. Well, there's the leading pair for Great Britain, 1 and 2 for Charlie Hicks and Zach Mohammed. Can tell you that Charlie Hicks's pace was metronomic. His last 3 laps, the big laps, 4:32, 4:32, 4:33. I mean, you couldn't do that if you tried. That is astonishing.
After NCAAs, you know, the idea of being able to pull off both, you know, in 1 year would be absolutely unreal. You know, last year winning was already an accomplishment that, you know, was beyond my wildest dreams. So I was just like, if I could close this out like this, it'd be the perfect season for me, you know, ever. And having finally done it, you know, it's one of the best feelings in the world. You know, my idea is that I'm more of a 10K runner, and this is an 8K race. Even though it's very difficult, I want to make sure that, you know, I'm not making it slow and racing, you know, some phenomenal 3K, 1500 runners like McElhenney, you know, over a 6K instead of an 8K. I want to make sure everybody has to run every meter of the race to give myself the best chance of doing well, and also give Britain the best chance of doing well, because I know that everyone on our team was so fit this year, and so I felt like running hard was the best thing I could do for us. No, I think the first place I ever got confidence to run hills like that was actually at this meet, I think 4 years ago in Portugal, where I ran the U20s. You know, that course was pretty much a hill. Like every 1500 meter loop was a hill, a massive one at that too. So, you know, I took experiences like that, you know, also racing at OSU, which is a pretty brutally hilly course, and I just tried to apply, you know, what my coach Ricardo Santos told me, which was just to get up the hill, push the top of the hill, you know, when people are trying to recover, and that tends to separate. But, you know, I couldn't separate from Zach because he's one of the best athletes, you know, I've ever run with, and so, you know, I think it's a testament to both of our abilities.